Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Yak Gadget. For all your kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com. Pelican cases, coolers, and lighting. Go to pelican.com. The 153 Bait Company. For all your hard and soft bait needs, go to the 153anglers.com. Now let's get this show started.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mindset Podcast on the Paddle and Fin Network. I'm your host, Chris Slifka. Today's special guest is Luke with Kayak Beast.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. I didn't want to pronounce that last name. I didn't want to get it wrong.
Prentiss.
Yeah.
No problem, not a problem.
That's
I'm sure I've been called worse.
Yeah. So, first question is, you just want to introduce yourself and what the program is and kind of what you do.
Yeah. So my name's Luke Prentiss. I'm a fitness coach, and I've started a program called the Kayak Beast for kayak fishermen to build kayak strength and lose kayak weight. Because when we're out there on the kayaks, we need to be as fit as possible, and as not as lightweight as possible, but we want to fit in our kayaks and keep our buoyancy and all those good things. So yeah, we're working on getting guys down to the weight they want to be and building up their kayak strength to get their kayaks where they want to go.
Yeah, I know fitness has become a big part for me as far as like this past season. I was in the gym kind of winter, and then as soon as the kayak season started, I stopped going to the gym, which is a bad idea.
I think that's what most guys.
just with all the tournaments that I was doing and all the stuff I was trying to get done this past season, the gym kind of took a back seat to that, and I think it hurt more than it helped. Well, it definitely hurt more than it helped because I went in leaner and having more strength, and I came out of the season way worse than I was before I even started working out.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys are in your same boat. Yeah. Because the program, it definitely slowed down during fishing season because everybody had the tournaments and everything. Matter of fact, I hadn't even been running it for the past. I was waiting for the New Year's to really get it kicked off again. I've had some guys that I've kind of stuck with me and a couple guys that have joined here and there, but I haven't been going full board on the program while I was waiting for fishing season to kind of end and getting it really rolling again for the New Year's.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you on here kind of talk about right now. This will air today. So
okay,
kind of what you recommend people to do around the holiday season, and then kind of what you recommend, and then we'll kind of go into the new year.
Okay.
So
well, dealing with the holidays is, of course, we got the holiday parties, we got the holidays themselves. They're all centered around eating and drinking. So one of the big things, if you're going to an event where you're going to be eating a bunch of food and drinking a bunch of beverage, is don't show up starving hungry. If you show up hungry, you're gonna scarf down everything in sight, and you're gonna take in too many calories. And that's the thing. They've kind of measured or averaged people out. They say the average person gains 2 to 3 pounds every holidays. Well, you do that holiday after holiday after holiday, and that's how people, in 10 years, they gain 15 to 20 pounds, is just those 2 or 3 pounds from the holidays. They might gain 3 and lose 1 of them and end up with a 2-pound net gain every single year. And it starts to add up over time. So we have to watch out from that holiday weight gain that comes with all the festivities.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's tons of good food that we always get pushed and desserts and everything. Is there a certain thing that you say stay away from, or?
Well, it's not so much, I don't remember, when I was on the Bass Fishing for Noobs podcast, we kind of talked about with the intermittent fasting, and that's kind of the big thing with intermittent fasting. You can still eat foods that you like, but you can't have them all the time. So for instance, let's say you go to a Christmas dinner and you have some pie. Well, that pie that's left over, when you're eating that pie for the next 2 or 3 days afterwards, that's when it starts to add up. One meal here or there isn't necessarily going to kill you, But yeah, you kind of want to watch out for the sugary foods, the starchy foods. The turkey's fine. Turkey's good for you, of
Yeah.
course. Any of the meats are good for you. The vegetables are good for you. The dressing, that's going to weigh a little heavy on you. The desserts, those of course are going to weigh heavy on you. And then, of course, alcohol does too. Alcohol adds up as well. Alcohol converts into sugar in our body, and it gets our body to shut down from burning any other calories because it's trying to get that alcohol out of us, that poison it considers, because it is a poison. You can die of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
So your body will shut down until it gets that poison out of your body, and it won't burn any other calories. So drinking alcohol keeps you from burning fat because it's too busy burning off the alcohol.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense because I personally drink maybe once or twice a year,
Yeah, yeah, you're not too
but
worried about it.
yeah, but I know kind of what you're talking about because you smell someone who's like really intoxicated. Like it's just
Hmm.
they're sweating out the alcohol
That's right.
versus anything else.
Yeah, yep, yep. The body has to get rid of it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna shut down burning off anything else in that time. So it's that, and going to these parties hungry is the main thing, because when you're hungry, you're not going to make the smarter choices. You might have a vegetable tray on one side, and then you might have, cupcakes and, pies on the other. And if you're starving, you're not going to choose the vegetables. Your body's going to go
Yeah.
straight for that sugar. So not showing up hungry, eating a light meal before you go to these things, or just eating, a little bit in the morning or something like that on those days can help too.
Yeah, I know me for Thanksgiving, I think I ended up only eating one plate, but it was mainly like turkey and ham and like good portions of food that I know where I could take in good carbs versus like the pies and everything else,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yep, fill up on the good stuff, and then you won't have any appetite left for the bad stuff.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Hmm.
know that for sure.
Yep, yep, that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
You
Why
know,
do
well, I
why
was
is
just gonna
it
say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you why is it that you like how do I word this correctly? Uh why is it harder around the holidays to kind of even though some of that food is good for you, why is it harder for people to eat healthier? Like,
Well, one thing that also plays into it that people don't talk about much is the daylight savings stuff. And when you shift into nighttime faster, your body's in the dark, your body starts, you release different hormones, and your body starts craving more sweets when you're in the dark more as well, because your body's trying to store up calories. It's thinking it's preparing for the long, hard winter. Because, we still got those cavemen bodies to where they used to have to, store up fat for the winter, and then they could burn it off in the summer. So the body starts switching over into fat storing mode as well when we start that daylight savings shift too. Cold
yeah.
weather also, man, makes the body think it needs to store fat because the fat keeps us warm. So when it gets colder, our bodies think, okay, we need to store on some fat to keep us warm.
So, do you recommend people trying to eat less grams of fat in the wintertime versus the summertime, or is it not really matter at that point?
And it's not so much the grams of fat as it is carbs, man. It's sugar, breads, those type of things. Mostly the baked goods and the sugars. Fat, yeah, fat adds up because there's a lot of calories in fat. So you take a gram. A gram is just a measure of weight. So take a gram of protein, a gram of fat, a gram of carbs. Well, a gram of fat has twice as many calories, so the calories can add up. But but fat actually fills you up. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, the sugars and the breads and everything, they don't really fill you up as much. So you eat a lot more of them, and it raises up your blood sugar. Once your blood sugar is high, we release insulin. Insulin goes and grabs all the sugar out of our blood and pulls it into our fat stores. And that's why, fat doesn't necessarily turn into body fat, but sugar will turn into body fat a lot faster because your body's trying to get the sugar from our bloodstream, because high blood sugar basically it kills us. It hardens our arteries, it
Yeah.
makes our heart not work as well, and so the body wants to get that sugar out of there, and it converts the sugar to fat faster than fat itself turns to fat. We need fat for our hormones, so it's kind of a double-edged deal. And then if you're eating fat and sugar together, so let's take a pie for instance. You've got sugar, you've got the fat inside of what you're making it with, like let's say a chocolate cream pie, or anything along those lines, pecan pie. And there's a lot of fat and oil in it with the sugar. Well, when your body's pulling that sugar out now, it's going to pull in the fat with it. So when you have fat and sugar together, that's when you really add the fat, pack on the body fat.
Okay, see, because everything I was taught was, as far as the macros, everything I was taught was more carbs, less fat, and then like a extreme amount of protein.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how you thought about things for a long time
Yeah.
too, as we talked last time.
Yeah, that's
You
how they taught us
know,
in college, man.
yeah,
That's the same thing they taught us.
yeah,
It was all backwards, and during the, the low fat diet craze, the government kind of came out and said, hey, we need to be low fat. We need to be, 20% fat or less. That started in about the late 70s. And that's when all of a sudden America became obese. From the late 70s on is when the obesity epidemic began. And that's because we were on these low fat diets. So you might not remember, there used to be these cookies that came out called Snackwells, and they were fat-free cookies. And man, they tasted awesome because they had a ton of sugar in them and everything else. They just had the fat out of them. So everybody would eat a box of cookies at a time, thinking, "Oh, these are fat-free. I can eat these forever." And of course, all they did was make you fat. Same thing with like pretzels, white flour. Nothing gets you fat faster than white flour does. The processed, enriched flour. Now, whole wheat
okay,
flour, not near as bad because you don't digest it quickly. It's mostly about how fast you digest something. If you digest something real fast, it jacks up your blood sugar, and that's when you're storing fat, is when your blood sugar is high. And that comes from carbs, man, and flour products.
okay. So do you? I've been trying. I want to say the last 2 weeks the intermediate fasting, where I do I think it's 16-8.
Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Where it's 8 hours eating,
Hmm.
16 off. I normally go from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
for mine. Um, but in that, I'm trying to get about 2,000 calories to 2,200. Is that too much, or is that
Yeah,
like kind of like,
that's a
because
good range.
all right,
Are you
because
tr- are you trying to lose weight, or or what are you trying to do with this?
I'm trying, for me personally, I'm just trying to build some muscle, and kind of maintain weight. I'm right around 190 right now.
Hmm.
I fluctuate between like 192 and 195, depending on what I eat on the day, obviously.
Okay.
And everything I read said that like 2,000 to 2,200 is kind of the range.
Yeah,
And
that's a maintenance range.
okay.
Anything over
Okay.
2,500, then you're probably going to add weight. Now, if your primary goal is strictly to add muscle, then we want to put people around 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and that's how you can add muscle. If you're just trying to maintain your weight, then you want to be, between 2,000 and 2,500 for males, a little bit lower for females. For guys, if we want to lose weight, we need to be below 2,000 calories on most days, depending how active you are too. Now, if you're a real active guy, you could lose weight at 2,500 calories if you're out kayaking all day, for sure.
Yeah. That's more in the summertime. I'm probably
Yeah.
more active in the summertime. Like now, I'm not really active. Like that's why I try to hit the gym at least twice. Twice at least 5 days a week. Twice a day. I try,
Oh yeah.
or at least I get up and I'll walk around my neighborhood, and that'll be like my cardio.
There you
And
go.
then I'll hit the gym for about an hour.
That's plenty.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I was just curious because like you said, there's so many articles and so many different ways of doing it, and
Oh yeah.
not all of it's right. And then
No.
you
It's funny that there's probably, I don't know, 30, 40 different diets out there. And they all work if you follow that particular diet. The problem is you need to follow a nutrition plan that you could stick with forever, because with a diet, if you lose a bunch of weight on a diet, but you can't stay on it forever because it's some, like keto or something where you're eating all fat, or Atkins or something where you're, or South Beach, you're not getting any carbs. It's just not realistic to stick with the rest of your life. So as soon as you come off that diet, you gain the weight back. And
yeah
that's what's so awesome about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, you can do that basically the rest of your life. It actually makes life easier. When you're not eating as often, you're not having to get up and worry about breakfast. You're not snacking at night. It makes things easier, and you can do it forever because it's not based on eating only certain foods. Yeah, you still want to eat healthy in general for sure, but you don't have to eliminate certain foods or only eat exclusively some other kind of food.
Yeah, that's kind of what I liked about it because I still feel like I can get my 3 meals a day and they're kind of spread out. I'm not trying to save a couple hours just to shove food in my mouth.
Right.
I get a light breakfast because right after I eat, I go to the gym.
Okay.
And then I get my obviously like what they call a post workout meal, and
Mm-hmm.
then that pretty much gets me to dinner time, and then dinner time is probably my biggest meal of the day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm still hitting 3 meals, and by the time 6 o'clock comes, I'm not hungry anymore.
Have
You
you
know?
have you had success with it so far?
Yeah, I've had success with it. I feel obviously I've been in the gym now for about 3-4 weeks
Okay.
since the kayak season.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really see progress right now, but I can feel it as far as like I'm lifting heavier.
Good. Good.
I'm back to kind of where I was before I left the gym last year.
Okay. Have you noticed
So
any pounds coming off the scale?
yeah, definitely. Because
There you go.
when I started, I was exactly at 200, and I weighed in 2 days ago. I weighed in at 192, and then I weighed at 195, but that was like after a full day of eating.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
So
I
yeah,
didn't.
that's awesome. I mean
Yeah,
that you can't ask for better than that. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
basically, if you lose a pound a week, you're doing awesome. Any more than that is just kind of it's gravy, man. That's bonus weight. But we're basically what we shoot for is a pound a week.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But as far as like, so obviously we talked about how to eat better during the holidays. As far as setting that New Year's resolution goal that everybody sets every year, as the mindset of sticking to that, because I feel like a lot of people, man, including myself at times, will say, "Hey, I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna do this for the rest. This is just gonna be part of my life." And then a month later, they quit. And I see it in the gym too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The gyms are packed in New Year's. Then
Yeah,
by March they're clearing out.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yep.
us, by February 1st, it's back to normal. You'll see the same
Yeah.
faces that you've been seeing.
Yep, yep. That's how
So
it goes, man. And usually the reason for that is people, well, obviously they're not serious enough about it to make it happen. But secondly, is they'll try to make too many changes at once. They'll say, okay, I'm going, 1,500 calories a day. I'm going to do keto. I'm going to work out 2 times a day, and they put too much on their plate when they're just starting out.
yeah,
When somebody just starts out, just work out 3 times a week, at first, something that you can do and you can do, and then build up from there instead of trying to do everything at once. It's just too much. It's like, saying, hey, I got a kayak, so now I'm going to start kayak fishing 5 times a week, and I've never kayak fished before. And then if they can't kayak fish 5 times a week, screw this, and then they throw their kayak in the garage and never use it and put it up on Craigslist next year. It's you can't overcommit. Just start out slow and work your way up. And that's the problem. Everybody, they're so gung ho that they think they have to do, 5 different things at once to be successful. And really, just start out with one thing, and that's an improvement. And then build on that, then add the second thing. And then after you get used to the second thing, then add the third thing. Instead of starting out with 5 new things that they're trying to do all at the same time.
yeah. I feel like some of it also, like you said, people put too much on their plate without really filling it out first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes just starting with a walk
Heck
in
yeah.
in the morning time before you even get the gym membership would
Yep. That's right.
help you versus spending all the money for
You know,
some of these are 30, like 30, 40. I know at my gym that it's the highest membership's $40,
right.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah, and hey, get up and do 5 push-ups a day. If you can't do them from your
Yeah.
feet, do them from your knees. Start out doing push-ups from your knees. Do 5 a day. Do that for 2 weeks. Then go to 10 a day. then go to 15 a day, then try to start doing them from your feet, go back to 5 a day. Just work your way up that way. Then after you're feeling a little bit stronger, a little more confident, then maybe get a gym membership. And if you get a gym membership, you don't have to go every day. Go 3 times a week at first. Then get out and walk a couple of times on the weekend. I mean, that's a heck of a lot better if you were doing nothing before. That's a huge improvement. But people think they have to, it's all or nothing approach is that's how we are about, a lot of things in life. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is that all or nothing approach people take at the holidays instead of working their way in like they should.
Yeah. Do you feel like some people they get that point to where they want to go to the gym, and then once they get there, they see like the bodybuilder type guys, and they kind of get where they don't want to go because of how they look versus how
Yeah.
someone with all these muscles look?
Yeah, they get intimidated and they
Yeah.
think, and they think everybody in the gym staring at them and like, oh, look at that guy. What's he doing here? And
Yeah.
really they don't care. The big bodybuilder guys, who they're comparing themselves to are the other bodybuilder guys.
Uh-huh.
They're kind of doing the same thing with the guys that are a level above them. They're not there to discourage people that are just starting out. People, they're like, heck yeah, I get it, man. Or, that's a very common mindset though. They think that, everybody's kind of looking at them, laughing at them, snickering at them, whatever, when really nobody's paying attention to them. That those
Yeah.
guys, those bodybuilder type guys, all they're comparing themselves to are the other bodybuilder type guys.
Yeah. And
They're not there to discourage other people by any means.
what I've seen, I don't know what you see in your gym. What I've seen in my gym is a lot of those guys, they'll have, like The Rock does. They put the hoodie on, the headphones on, and they're not paying attention to anybody but
Exactly.
what they got to do for
Yep.
themselves.
That's right.
And
That's right. Yeah, everybody thinks all eyes are on them and
yeah,
nobody's watching them. The guys that are really serious about it, they're in there to get their workout and that's it. You know,
yeah,
no doubt. And a lot that's a super common mindset. You don't know how many times through my career I've had people say, yeah, I want to start training with you, but I want to get in shape first. And I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah,
No, you come to me, that's when you're going to get in shape. That's what they
yeah.
think, they got to get in shape before they can go to the gym. And no, that's where you get in shape is at the gym.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I stopped caring about what, like, even if most of the people that are watching you in the gym are probably new themselves
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the gym. And a lot of that is just how to use a machine or something.
Sure. Sure. What exercise is
'Cause-
working for this
yeah,
guy? If somebody, looks the way you want to look, hey, what exercise is that guy doing?
yeah,
you know, which really that's a mistake too, because that
it
guy,
is.
he probably, when he started out, he wasn't doing those same
Yeah,
exercises. He's at a level now where those exercises work for him, but they wouldn't have worked for him back in the day. That's a
yeah,
big problem too. People watch these YouTube videos and, you'll see guys doing it in there, doing all these fancy type, bodybuilding exercises where a bodybuilder might be trying to like just make his bicep peak a little more and might have some weird movement that he's doing, but it doesn't build the base muscle that you need of that. I said bicep, tricep, the base muscle that you need for that tricep to get its initial strength. Then you can
yeah,
start like forming it. Well, they'll see a guy that's already built his base strength, his base muscle, and he's just trying to kind of, put some form to it, sculpt it out a little bit. And they'll start with a sculpting exercise when they need to be building base strength and base muscle instead. So that's another problem. People don't start with the basics. They start with these advanced movements that you don't really get huge results from unless you've already gotten your big results building a strong base. Then you can start doing those things because eventually when you're doing these basic exercises, you're going to get to a point where you can't get any stronger or bigger. Really, you kind of reach your genetic potential. And that's when you start trying to kind of sculpt your muscles and shape your body to where you want it. But people do these shaping type exercises when they first start out and they haven't built their base yet. And that's a big problem with people watching advanced guys work out. They've already done all the things that those people should be doing right now, but they're seeing what they're doing in this advanced stage, and it's not good for a beginner. A beginner needs to be doing just basic exercises to build up their base strength and muscle.
yeah. No, I wanted to ask this question because Anytime I went into the gym off of not being there for even a week or two or a couple months break like I took when I did the kayak season, I always start off with the lightest weight possible and then kind of see where I'm at from there. Do
Smart.
you do you feel people try to get into the gym and lift as heavy as possible before they build the base?
Yep, yep. And the problem with that is you don't have, there's several. First off, if you don't have good technique in your lifts, you're not going to hit the muscle the way that you're trying to hit it. So, like let's say if you're trying to do a chest press, but you're all over the place, you're going to end up hitting your shoulders instead of your chest. You can't. So, what they need to focus on is what's called mind muscle connection. They need to start
Yep.
learning how to feel the muscles that they're trying to work on an individual exercise instead of focusing on moving weight from point A to point B. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to
Yeah.
actually work the muscles and fatigue the muscles. And you have to really have a focus on, using the weight the right way. And the only way to do that is lightweight. If the weight's heavy, well, then you have to use momentum and you're swinging the weight around and you don't use the muscles you're trying to use.
Yeah, I feel like that a lot of people go in with the attitude of I'm gonna do lighter weight and really figure this out, and then as soon as they get there, they don't want to look like the weak person in the gym.
Yeah.
So they
Yep.
start grabbing heavier stuff,
Yep.
not realizing it's not helping them at all.
That's right. That's right. You
Even
see it
if
all the time.
yeah, yeah,
And
you
those
see
those
it
are
a
the
lot.
guys that end up on those YouTube videos of funny gym fails and stuff like
Yeah,
that because they're too busy trying to lift heavy weights. They're bouncing up and down in
yeah,
machines and all kinds of crazy stuff because they're so worried about how much weight they have in their hands when actually nobody cares. It looks worse when you're slinging it around doing it the wrong way than if
yeah,
you have a lighter weight doing it correctly.
yeah. I aim towards what I'll do is kind of like go with the lightest weight, or I'll try to go 5 pounds heavier the next time I work
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
muscle group.
Sure.
Uh,
And even if you get one repetition, you've
yeah,
improved that week. If you did 10 reps the week before, you do 11 the next week, that's an improvement.
yeah,
You can go up in weight, you can go up in repetitions. You could do 3 sets instead of 2 sets. There's all kinds of ways to improve. You could take shorter rest breaks. And, instead of resting for 2 minutes between a set, rest 1 minute. That's
yeah,
also harder. So the more work you do in a given set of time, if you can do the same workout in 45 minutes that used to take you an hour, well, you've improved right there. And I
yeah,
don't I don't recommend working out over 30 minutes.
yeah. I agree with that, especially like if you can do like you said shorter rest breaks. So that's what I've been
Hmm.
trying to do. So I don't necessarily do there's a few times a month where I'll go in and my goal is just to see kind of how I grew as far as like I'll do 1 rep maximums. But I wouldn't call that a workout day. That's
Right.
just kind of me trying to see where I'm at from where I was a month ago.
Just kind of
But
testing.
yeah, my main thing is I rather do lighter weight with shorter rest breaks and kind of that 10 to 12 rep range
Uh-huh. Hmm.
to kind of actually get the workout.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And so that's one of the ways to improve. And the more efficient your body becomes at resting faster and recouping its energy faster, that's a good thing too. That helps you start, your body becomes more active that way. So you're burning more calories. It's kind of like it's walking compared to running. Like if you walk 2 miles and you run 2 miles, you burn the same amount of calories. But when you run those 2 miles, now you're working your cardiovascular system a lot harder, your circulatory system a lot harder. So it makes a difference by shortening that time frame. But if you're just looking at total work done, the total work done is the same whether you walk 2 miles or run 2 miles.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I know you gotta go.
Yep, back to
You,
training this
yeah.
morning.
So I want to first off say I appreciate you jumping on this morning.
No problem. Thanks for
You
having me,
know,
man.
it's no problem at
Always
all.
love talking fitness and kayak fishing, man.
Yeah, I mean this was more fitness, but
Sure,
this is the off season, and
sure.
it's. I think people especially in the fishing world, misunderstand how important it's just being strong and having, especially the cardio side of things
Oh yeah,
for a
especially with
kayak
kayak
fish.
fishing.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yes,
you'd be amazed at my guys in the kayak beast program how much stronger they say they are out on their kayaks, how much their fishing's improved just from being in good shape to get from, one spot to the next, and then not be tired out when they get there, finishing out the day and not just having to pass out on the couch when they get home, not being aching in the morning, and just covering more water, catching more fish, man.
Well, yeah, I know it's going to help me out a bunch this upcoming year, especially when you have those 2 or 3 days, tournaments where you're practicing 2 days and then the tournament's on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you need all that in you.
Yeah. It's basically
without
a full
your
week.
body. Yeah, without your body hurting.
That's right. That's right. No doubt.
Before we end this, I just want to give you a chance to shout out the program again and the business.
Yeah, it's the Kayak Beast, and Kayak Beast Fishing Strength and Fitness is our group. So if you go to Kayak Beast Fishing Strength and Fitness, it's a private group, but I'll let you in if you're a kayak fisherman. And I put in lots of free videos there. I have probably 20, 30 free videos in there. We post results of the guys in the program. You can join the program through there. Guys share their feats on the water and what they've done as far as showing off their strength and fitness on the water, and we kind of support each other. And yeah, it's a great place to be if you want to learn about how to be more fit and strong on the water.
Okay. And how would people get a hold of you?
You can go through Facebook. You can message me on Facebook, Luke Prentiss. You can do it there. You can do it inside of the Kayak Beast Fishing Strength and Fitness Program. You can reach me inside of there as well. But yeah, you can just go to Luke Prentiss on Facebook, message me, and I'd be more than happy to work with anybody. We're gonna really get it kicked up again here next month for the New Year's. So I was kind of letting everybody finish out the fishing season, and we're gonna get it rock and rolling for sure.
All right. I don't want to hold you any longer.
I appreciate it, Chris.
I appreciate you joining.
Have a great day, man. Thanks.
You too.
All right, brother.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com